Salute, my Tiger Tribe family, elevating higher and higher through the use and practice of self discipline. It's your guy, it's your man, MP, Mystical Path, the Mystic Oracle. Back at you again with another video. Hot topic. A lot of people need answers on this one, so I'm going to get into it. Be sure to like, subscribe, and leave your comments, negative or positive. Your feedback is important because it helps me kind of gauge and balance, where we're at with making these videos or whatever. But anyway, I'm going to talk about fighting demons. Today, I'm going to discuss fighting demons. The truth of the matter is, there's nobody on this planet that's exempt from fighting demons and dealing with problems and issues, which really a demon, that's a label, but pretty much a demon is just certain internal things that you may have been born with due to your mother, or your dad. Mainly your dad. Many times you carry you're having to carry ancestral baggage from your parents' bloodline. I forget that there's a technical name that scientists use for that, but it's pretty much things and honestly, man, it's sometimes it's the karma of your ancestors you're having to deal with. Many times you're dealing with the karma of your ancestors. Some of you may not agree with that, but that's what it is. Things in your life that you can't seem, hurdles over your life you can't seem to get over because there's always these blocks. Every time you try to move forward, there's blocks in your life. Those are the demons. Those are the demons that you're dealing with due to unresolved issues that your ancestors didn't complete. Certain tasks and certain things that they caused. Certain debts that they didn't pay, you're having to pay them because you come through their bloodline. It's hard. That's a hard truth to accept because you're thinking, well, what did I do to deserve this? Nothing. But the way the universe works is all of us are linked. We're chained together to some degree until you break the chain. That's why that's why they, like in religions, certain religions, especially if if you go to church or whatever, the black church, mainly, well, from what I know, oh, let's break these generational curses. Let's break the devil's chains. Let's break the chains of the enemies. Really, they're talking about unresolved issues from your ancestors that you're having to pay a debt that they didn't pay. Spiritually, metaphysically, and for you Christians or whatever, for you Christians out there, it's biblical. Because the Bible says, the Creator says, I will visit the iniquities of the fathers upon the children to the third and fourth generation. Meaning that pretty much he's saying that he could punish you. You can be punished for things you haven't resolved that could come through your kids. Your kids will have to pay your debt. And really it's you paying your debt because you're coming back in reincarnation. A lot of you cats, well, let me just go deep for a minute. A lot of you cats never give thoughts to reincarnation or any type of thought to reincarnation because your understanding of it is so clouded and bogus. When you hear that word, when a lot of religious people hear that word, reincarnation, they always, man, I ain't coming back as no rat or no roach. I ain't trying to come back to life as no cat or dog. No, that's not what reincarnation is. To some degree, it's a little bit of that, but you come back as who you are. You've lived so many lives. You've lived many lives. This ain't the only life you've lived. This earth is trillions of years old. The planet, the galaxy is trillions and trillions of years old. And you think you live to be 60, 70, 80 years old. You think that's your only, you think that's all you got? You got 80 years out of a trillion years? The Creator only gave you 80 years out of a trillion years? You've lived many lives. And if you want me to be honest with you, you've been here from the beginning. You've been here from the beginning of time. You know, you're religious. A lot of you religious. I can get on your level. You've been here since the time of Adam. You can you got. We were the angelic beings in the. We were the angelic beings in the different atmospheres in the heavenly realms. And we came to this planet and other planets, but we came to this planet, we took on bodies due to disagreements and things in the heavens. And the scriptures tell you that, and then you read the Quran tells you that. This hard for y'all, a lot of y'all, because y'all ain't never heard this before. But I'm getting to the root of where your demons come from and how you defeat them. Because there were battles in the heavenlies. It just depends on what side you are on, what council you are on. Some of you are on the light side, the good side. Some of you are on the dark side. There was agreements, there was battles and shit. And certain beings were cast down to the earth to live out their sentence. Many of you are in prison, don't even know it, because nothing ever seems to go right. What did I do, and what did my ancestors do, and why I got to pay for something they did or whatever? This is something that you did in another life. And your demons followed you into this life through your parents. You are your parents. But this is hard knowledge for a lot of you cats, and I ain't even begun to submerge all of you with deep knowledge. I haven't even went there yet. I'm still in preschool on a lot of you, because I know you won't grasp this. But the demons that you're having to deal with, and the demons that you're having to fight things from the etheric realms, certain atmospheric realms. You're having to battle to invisible things you can't see that are influencing the things around you and the people around you to attack you and attack. I should say, yeah, attack, but challenge you. You have to break through those barriers. You have to bust through those walls, and you have to break those chains, as they say in the church, whatever. Break the chain, break that enemy, break the generational curses that you are having to deal with. And how do you do that? You study, you pray, you meditate. You know, I told a guy a couple of days ago, I said, man, you certain demons you have to learn to live along with. Oh yeah. Because if it wasn't so, every day would be glorious. Every day would be, you would have a positive, you would have no negativity in any aspect of life. And that can't be so, because life is a balance. Left, right, up, down. You have to have polarity opposites. The Creator made it that way. The creators that created us. The creators. And yes, there's not just one. What? You have to tap into and tune into your galactic family to assist you on your journey. But in a kind of a relative sense, it's just you have to fight through. And demons come in many forms. For a lot of you, is generational, like cancer. That could be a generational thing. It's a generational thing. That's why if you go to the doctor and get checked up or whatever, they ask you, does this run in your family? Heart disease. Because we're connected. We're chained together. You have the power to break certain chains in your life once you get the knowledge of how to do so. Excuse me. You know, another demon could come in the form of alcoholism. And I come look at my grandfather, alcoholic, his entire life. Wino. And so those urges can come through you. And many times will come to test you because it's in the DNA. Everything is inside the DNA. Everything, every deed and action, every thought is stored in the universal Akashic bank. So when it comes your time, another baby's made or procreation or whatever, you may be dealing with something from your great grandfather. And now that you have the knowledge, I mean, maybe you may not totally agree with me. You may not completely agree with me, but there may be something I say that sparks you to go and research or study another aspect and say, okay, well, let me give some thought to that. And that's on you. But all of us are going to deal with things. Lust, uncontrolled lust and sexual desires in men. I'm talking to men. I know women deal with it too, but this channel is for men mainly. Uncontrolled uh, uh, sexual desire and these things, because many of us we're not learned. We're not taught how to control these things. Many of these things pass on to us from our fathers. They dealt with it unresolved. They dealt with these unresolved lust entities, battling, and now we come and we got to deal with the same thing, but we get stronger in battle because we have knowledge. And you can apply that knowledge to help you in certain situations. On a physical level, and it's hard. Certain demons, many demons you fight ain't just going to instantly leave. I don't care how much you pray and drink water, juice fast or whatever. Look, certain entities ain't going to leave easily. Certain entities certain entities you have to spiritually get down with and physically get down with. Because demons come through people too. Because many times they need a host, they need a something to possess to really get your attention. They exist in the invisible realm too. But in this life, you got to know. In this life, you got to have spiritual knowledge, and you have to have physical knowledge. You have to have natural knowledge and supernatural knowledge. And then you graduate on to God knowledge. That's a whole nother That's a whole nother level of understanding. To get into godhood again, that's what we're striving for. I mean, that could be hundreds of years from now. Due to things that were taking place out in the cosmos before we got on this planet. A lot of you cats are bull. A lot of you cats think I'm bugging. No, I ain't bugging, bro. I ain't bugging. This is true knowledge. This is true knowledge. You've been dealing with you're dealing with something that come from your foreparents, your ancestors, and you Christian. Uh, I guess I can get on your level. I mean, we can go back to Adam. You're dealing with the stuff. I mean, you always talking about Adam um, fell short in sin or whatever. We got to deal with the sins of Adam. Yeah, you really right in a lot of ways. You really that's really true because it's unresolved issues that took place that that haven't been dealt with for thousands of years and even millions of years. So you have to know how to deal with them on a daily basis. Some you can defeat some, and I would go as far as to say is you can defeat all of them, maybe in one lifetime. But as long as you're on this planet, you're gonna always battle. You're always gonna have demons to fight. As long as you're living in this world, you're gonna have challenges in your life. If it's alcohol and drugs or whatever, that's something that come pass through your bloodline. That's something you got to come face to face with that. You have to consistently, you have to consistently and daily grow in strength and face those battles that you know face those areas of weakness that you deal with. Drugs, alcohol, women. Now, I'm not saying women are bad. I'm not bashing women. What I'm saying is a man that's out of control when it comes to women. That's a problem you need to deal with. When those feelings and those desires come, and you like, oh man, man, I'm about to go crazy. You gotta calm yourself. You gotta calm yourself. She's bad. And if it's a serious area that you have to overcome, you're gonna be tempted greatly, and you have to say no. When it comes to lust, the baddest female can come to you, bro. If you have uncontrolled lust, the demon could come in the baddest female, walking to and fro up and down the earth, seeking who she may devour, which is really he. That's a whole nother topic. But you got to face that. If it's Wild Irish Rose, Henny, OE. If you come through a line of drinkers, alcoholic or whatever, you got. I mean, if you fall into tough times and depression or whatever, that bottle's sitting right there, looking you in your face, and what you gonna do? You have to remember that you're facing the challenges of your ancestors. You're having to deal with many of um, the genetic memories and actions of your ancestors that's stored in your DNA that rise up at certain times in your life to see where you at with them. You got to spar. You got to get in the ring and fight. Okay, I know I'm not going to drink today. I don't want to drink today. Some of the greatest advice that I've ever got, um, because I'm a musician, some of the greatest advice I've ever gotten from an older musician. He told me, he said, don't drink. He said, if he said, if you could, he said, if you can find a way to combat drinking, he said, then you'll win. He said drinking will tear you up more than any other drug, any other substance out here. And I was like, how can that be so? He said, because it's free. It's free. And in my line of work, it's free. You don't have to pay for it. Drugs, many times in my line of work, free. You don't have to pay for it. Women in the line of work that I do, they come free. Have to trick. You don't have to trick. Come free. But my point is, when it comes, when those things come, it's just like the Matrix in a movie. When those challenges and demons and distractions and they come to you, how do you react? How do you reply to? How do you reply to the those things that come to you, those temptations? What's your reply? What do you say? Yeah, man. Get that bottle over here, man. Let's pour some. Let's drink some. When she come through, hey, what y'all doing after the show? What's your reply? So I'm saying every person has demons that they're fighting. You have to find ways to battle yours and gain enough strength to overcome them, or do the best that you can while you're on this planet. If it's religion for you, then go with that. You know, if it's, church, whatever, Christianity, I mean, whatever, yoga, meditate, I mean, whatever. You have to do what you have to do to get through your life, and have the highest quality of life you can while you're here on this planet. And try to defeat as many demons as you can. But you have to acknowledge them and face them. Only way. MP, Mystical Path. I'll be back. See you soon.